back.
The interesting thing is I gotta admit this. I don't know if I shared this with anyone before. Is I'm responsible for my deportation.
Right.
I was actually in the system as an American, and there are a lot of people that go through the criminal justice system, and they say, you know, they're born in USA, born in Brooklyn, and nobody does any check. They just write it down. But I broke at a certain point when I was in Clinton, Dannemora, and I just wanted to get out. Obviously, I wasn't going to cooperate with the authorities, so my only way out was to have them send me back to Belize on a prisoner exchange. So Belize has a treaty with the United States where they can exchange prisoners so they could let you go back to Belize and serve your time. And so that's how I ended up getting deported, because the governor at the time, I think Pataki or whoever was in charge in New York, had agreed that they would let me go back. And the government in Belize had agreed. And then New York State reneged.
Yeah.
But I had already, so I had to go through, I had to tell them that, you know, I was an immigrant and I wanted to go back to my country, and I had to waive, you know, my rights and I did all of that. And but yeah, you know, so
He's
when you
getting
look,
fucked by everybody.
no, but see, when you look at it, you know, there are things that are beyond what we can even contemplate. And I believe there's a metaphysical network. And yeah, you know, you make decisions, but I hate to say, you know, it was meant to be. But when you look at what happened, I wouldn't necessarily change it, right? I'm not sure, because what may have happened if I came out with that energy, with that Tupac energy?
Right.
You know, it might have ended bad. So maybe the Creator saved me from myself by deporting me, let me get that out my system, and then, you know, go to Israel.
But you got deported after the 8.5, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I was trying to get out before
Right.
the 8.5.
Yeah.
I was trying to get, you know, it was like maybe 6 years, like 6, and so I was trying to get out. But then it didn't work out. I had to serve the entire thing. But what I'm saying is, if I would have gotten out and stayed in America, and I would have, you know, approached things with the wrong energy, who
Right.
knows what would have happened. So it's like now I'm a completely evolved, totally different person, and that took time. And so God knew what He was doing, making sure I went
Don't make
went to
mistakes, huh?
Belize, went to Israel, came back to Belize, started serving my people. You know, I'll show you how much I've evolved. And, you know, my political enemies in Belize, you know, they're vicious. So they're playing an ad against me where I was actually assaulted. Big Shyne Poe, who, you know, would reach for that thing in a minute and let you have it. But I've changed, and right before the general elections, it was maybe like a year before the Belize general elections, you know, someone put hands on me, and I walked away. Because if I didn't do that, I might have ended up killing that person or hurting that person.